Hello, welcome again to SQL Tech Info. Uh, in the last video we looked at MariaDB and then we talked a little bit about the user interface, the different features that the application actually provides, to make life easy for us, to query databases. I thought in this video we're going to be running or ran a few SQL statements back, but they were quite a little bit complex. So I thought let's run some few SQL queries. Now, these queries will be based on a common work task that we might encounter. When you're working as maybe I'm not very sure, like a security analyst or a cyber securist or yeah, network security analyst, you might encounter quite a few uh, issues where you need to query a database, to dig deeper, to find out what is actually going on. So we are going to determine whether, uh, we'll be looking at different ways on the exploring this. So I thought, I well, first of all, we'll write a query, to to just to display, using the two SQL keywords uh, we need, for basic SQL queries, which are like the select and the from. So the select indicates which column to return, and the from indicates which table, to query. So, like a good example, let's give a general normal standard command or a general standard query to illustrate what we're doing. So basically here we're saying we select star, which means everything, and we're looking at the employee table, which is this table based here within the Chinook database. So again, you can actually go up here and then you execute with an, or you use an F9 on your keyboard, or you can actually select. You either right click and run selected, or you select and then you go there and you see that the run selected has been highlighted. So if we click on the help run selected, it will run that query, or we do a control F9. Okay, so if we run it, we'll see that now we've got everything displayed in here, which is within the employee table. Now, changing that table, we can actually look at the invoices table, or what have we got there? It's just invoice. Okay, we can look at the invoice table. We select again, run, and you see we've got more data. So which means we've got not too many employees, but we've got quite a few data, when it comes to invoices, right? So as you can see here, we've got a lot of records. If you go right down there, it's about 412 records basically. Again, we can actually change that particular table and look at another table. Say, let's look at, now we've got different tables there. If you look at here on the left hand column, we've got the database itself, which is called Chinook, and then we've got an album table, an artist table, customer table, an employee table, a genre table, invoices, invoice line, media type, playlist tracks, and tracks. Now, so let's just for educational purposes, let's go through these tables and see what they have to offer. So let's look at the album table, which is the very first one. We highlight, right click, and then run selected. We'll see that we've got some few albums here, and the record goes right down to 347. Okay, so yeah, this is just the basic query, to be able to actually see what is within your database basically, right? So we can again go to let's say we go to let's look at the cost. How many customers have we got? We go to the customer table, and then we highlight again and run. So you see we've got quite a few customers, right? So we've got the customer ID, we've got the first, last name, we've got company. Some are null because this information wasn't added in the system. Again, this is a chin-up database, and this chin-up database is actually used for educational purposes. So powered by GitHub. Yeah, if you want to actually use this database, to experiment or to learn or to improve your skills with SQL queries, uh, you can actually go to the GitHub site and then download the query or the complete query to generate and populate data within this database. Okay, so yeah, now we have started with simple queries. Uh, let's look at a little bit a little complex one. For example, right? So we want to select or we want to add an argument to our query. So basically, what do? We say initially let's go back to the employee table. Yeah. So we run that and we've got the employee table, right? So within the employee table, we've got different columns. Now we can actually um, we can query this employee table to show us just specific data, right? And to do that, we have to write another complex query. Say, for example, we say select, yeah? So we are selecting. What are we selecting? We're selecting, we want to shrink or we want to view specific information about the employee. Or say, let's say employee first name. And remember, everything goes with a comma. You separate every particular information that you want to retrieve with a comma. So we have the employee first name, and then we look at the employee's last name, and what else do we want to see? Let's look at the employee's country. So if we want to look, because basically these are the these are the columns that we have within the table. So we are trying to retrieve information from these columns basically. So we have the first name, we have the last name, and then we want to look at the employee's country. And what else do we want to look at? Let's say we look at the country and then we look at this at the employee's city. And then, so this is we're using this statement now to tell the system that we want this information basically. So now, where do we want this information from? So we add another from. So we tell the information that we tell the statement that we want the information from the employee table. Yeah. Now we can add some conditions, right? So we can say where uh, we can say where the country is Germany, or we can say where the title. So we can actually shrink that. Yeah. So let's say where the employee title is. Remember, where employee title equals. Now it actually shrinks our information. It gives us exactly what we wanted to have, basically. Okay. So if we go back here and say, okay, uh, we want to see the general manager. Yeah, so okay, right. Let's look at the general manager, or let's look at where, say, where the city. Yeah, so city Calgary, and let's say let's look at just city, where city, yeah, equals to Calgary. Yeah. So now we are actually giving it more conditions to generate just what we want it to show us. So if we do that and then we run that, you see here we've got city Calgary, country Canada, we've got the employee first name and employee last name. So that's how you can actually, this is how you can actually manipulate the database, to give you information that you actually need. Now this is information that is acquired. Now this is I know it's a beginner's information for those who are trying to learn the basics of queries. Those who want to be cyber security analysts or IT technicians or whoever. I'm not very sure, but we'll be progressing with different videos, to give you a high level, or let's say we will deep dive into it as we move on. So guys, see you in the next video. Thank you very much and bye bye.